Peters.
Yes, let's go. It's Charger time.
You're kind of our fantasy guy here at Bolt Blitz Uncut. You're the unofficial, but yet official fantasy guy here on Bolt Blitz Uncut till we grow the team for sure. We're going to go through the Chargers position groups, if you will, and then we're going to kind of get a fantasy outlook regarding each spot. And let's start right at the top with Justin Herbert. You know, you see some of the.
It depends if we're looking at Superflex or we're looking at one QB leagues. What's up, Crooked Commish? What's up? I mean, if it's a one QB league, you can wait. You know what I'm saying? But for even Superflex, Herbert this year, he could go fast, but I would hold off on it. You know what? Because there are good quarterbacks out there. But Herbert this year, attached to Mike McDaniels, are big numbers. You know, that could – I mean, as a Charger fan, I'm not going to reach. Herbert, I can find, but you know what? I'm not going to go, hey, I'm going to grab Herb. Because, you know, he doesn't really have a great backup. You know, that's why you have to look at Herbert. Does he have a backup? Not really. So he has Trey Lance, but it's not like you have someone that can go out there and get. So that's enough. I have Herbert shares, and I'm staying where I am at Herbert shares as much as I want to go talk to JD about taking him off his hands, because I have Brock Purdy. I have the Purdy man.
You know, he's going to want it.
But you know what? I like my Herbo this year, but that, I don't want to have anything attached to that substation.
I know, right? Yeah, that shit is so wonky, dude. I need to have.
I love JD. We're gonna talk about it, but you know what? I have my Herbert shares, but I don't want to get too enthusiastic. But for fantasy this year, as you said, it's Justin Herbert, it's Amari and Hampton.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of which, let's get to the running backs, because if you've listened to Mike McDaniel at all during these press conferences, he said, "I hate to do this to you fantasy owners, but all three of these guys are going to be seeing touches all game long." And those guys he's obviously referring to Amari and Hampton, Kamani Vidal, and then, of course, Keaton Mitchell, who had a wanted sign up in Joe Ortiz poster put on the wall by new offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. When you look at this running back stable, Hampton's the only one I would even consider having shares of. But try to talk some of the folks out there and give them some hope that Vidal or maybe even Keaton Mitchell could make a little noise, or is that off the table?
You know what? If as in fantasy, if you have Hampton, you want to get one of them. I heard, as I told you backstage, I heard that news. I was like, I just went all out for Hampton. I'm fine with that because I improved my team. But don't get me wrong. But we're gonna ride the hot hand, could it be Hampton? Could it be Vidal? Or could it be Mitchell? But you know what? I have Hampton. I'm probably gonna lean at grabbing Vidal, because we saw what he had last year. I just feel that Vidal for me is the safest pick. And that's for me.
And nobody else is talking about Vidal.
Exactly. If I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to talk about a player that I had last year on fantasy and we saw what he did coming in for Hampton. He filled a void for Hampton last year fantastically. You know, Keaton Mitchell has that injury history, so that's where I kind of like. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, it's just that part for me is like, do I want to invest and give up assets for something that has a lingering effect that could linger on my team? And like, oh shit. So that's where Vidal, I'm probably more comfortable with the Vidal shares there. I'd rather have the Hampton Vidal backup plan and not the Hampton Mitchell plan, because I'm worried because Hampton was injured last year, but Mitchell in his career is pretty dang banged up. I love that we have him, but that for me, for fantasy to real life, that's where I draw the line. I have to just take Vidal over that one.
Well, listen, I'm excited about the Keaton Mitchell addition. I can't wait to see what he does possibly in the return game, and just his versatility and all that speed. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry last year, leading the entire NFL. But that being said, he's a home run threat who gets hurt, and he's slight of frame. He's not a big – I outweigh him by probably 15, 20 pounds.
But on the part about Mitchell, now in some leagues, there are in the points, there are the return yards. So Mitchell does come into play like, oh shit, those yards do add up and those points add up. But the thing is, how many times are you going to see that on the field? You know what I'm trying to say? So, for a fantasy manager, you do or you don't. You have these questions, but you look at your league settings and you say, yeah, that's going to help me there. That's a great return, man. But then again, it does take a roster spot up too. So there's a lot of things you got to juggle, but you can keep that in mind saying, oh shit, if that does come into during the season, oh, there's a waiver wire pickup. You know what I'm trying to say? So a lot of those things come into play, but for me, as I said, it's going to be Hampton Vidal for me. And that's how I look at it. For me as a fantasy manager in Dynasty, and yeah, I have Hampton share, it'd be Hampton Vidal for me. And I've had people coming at me, oh Lee, you want Mitchell? Of course I'd love Mitchell, but not this year. I'm not sad. I'm gonna ride horses with Hampton and Vidal.
I like Vidal as the handcuff to Hampton too. I really need to see how Keaton Mitchell's even employed in this offense. But with McDaniel literally saying all these cats are going to be touching the ball, it just means that be careful and stay cautious if you're going to draft.
Now, also, this can also be all talk too.
Oh, of course.
We know when this time of the year, there's always these blurbs, these talks, but we're going to see that when it comes to the games, how it really plays out. We know Harbaugh loves to run the football. So that's where I'm going to say, yeah, they're all going to be valuable, but who's going to be the valuable most? It's going to be Hampton.
So the murky backfield situation will segue perfectly into the tight end group, where I want no shares of any of these guys. It's even more confusing there. Charlie Kolar's getting paid. It's Kolar. I know it's spelled like Kolar, but if you listen to Charlie say it, it's Kolar. And then obviously David Njoku signed a 3-year deal, and then you already have the Y slot and Oronde Gadsden. All these guys are going to be heavily involved, but they can't all catch the ball at the same damn time. If there was a tight end out of this group that if you had to hitch your wagon to one of these guys to say, okay, if you're dead set on drafting a Chargers tight end in your fantasy league, which one would it be and why?
I'm going to say it's Gadsden because Njoku signed for 1 year.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying I know we got a great deal with Njoku, but for me, we saw what Gadsden did last year with the time that he played, right? Yes, Njoku is going to, as I've told you, he's going to be our red zone. I feel our red zone threat in the passing game. But for me, if I'm talking fantasy and dynasty, I'm going to go with Gadsden because he's here longer. He's on a rookie deal.
Dynasty for sure. There's no doubt there.
But for redraft purposes, I'm probably go with Njoku.
I get it, dude. It's just such a weird team, though, because here you could be sitting 8 weeks into this season, and Charlie Kolar could be a top 7 to 10 tight end.
Exactly.
He can actually catch the ball. He's developed himself into a very solid pass blocking tight end or run blocking tight end. But, oh, by the way, he came out of college as a receiving tight end. So this is a guy who could do a little bit more than the rest of the league knows. He's sitting behind Isaiah Likely. And then, of course, Mark Andrews in Baltimore. Now he's going to have more of a premier role with these Chargers. Don't be surprised if you see Kolar as the tight end one and him be the tight end that you might consider picking up off the waiver wire. Because until you see how this is starting to shake out a little bit, be cautious with that tight end room. Let's go to another group here, Lee. Chargers wide receivers, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Trey Harris are all referred to as elite wideouts by head coach Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, you have Brendan Thompson, the 4th-round pick out of Mississippi State, 4.2640. I am the president of his fan club, other than his mother, Bonnie. Nice to connect with you on Facebook, Bonnie. Love seeing you out there. What up, Richie? And then you have KLS, Darius Davis, DeLavon Campbell. There are a lot of wideouts there that are in camp right now. Is there a wide receiver you feel comfortable with out of that group? And then also, is there a dark horse later in fantasy drafts that you feel like teams can kind of hide on their bench and have them come through in the clutch late in the season?
It's for me automatically. It's going to be Ladd and Q. Okay, there's your A and B. It's going to be McConkey, Quentin Johnson. Where people draft Ladd's going to be definitely going to go early. Okay, don't get me wrong in this offense. Quentin Johnson's a hell of a sleeper pick. He's a late round pick, but we saw what he did in fantasy football last year. He carried me for weeks. He carried almost 4 or 5 weeks in the huge.
He was top 5, Lee.
Exactly.
So top 5 in the whole league.
But we didn't have Mike McDaniels last year, and we have him this year. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of. That's where he might be a late round pick. But this year he's going to go a little sooner. It's going to be Ladd, but then QJ slowly couple rounds, not I'm saying 4 or 5 rounds late, or it's going to be not far because this offense is going to pick up. We saw what he's done the last 2 years. Q is going to pick it up. I've seen all this blurbs about him dropping and stuff like that. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
It's training camp. Listen, I can't talk about the drops, so we're going to be here all day because people know how I feel about catching the football. Trey Harris, he's put on 7 to 8 pounds of muscle. Your fantasy outlook for him this year, is he somebody you could take a gamble on late?
He's a late flyer to have on your bench as a
Love Lydia.
Yeah, he'd be right there on your bench. Yeah, what is it? Just as your he'd be right there. Yeah, perfect person. I would, because I really think he's going to have more of a role this year. But you know what? It's going to be Lad. It's going to be Lad. It's going to be Q. And I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen a lot of people saying that Q could outdo Lad McConkey this year. But do we know? We don't know what this offense. Having both of them is nice, but for fantasy, that's the gamble you take. You got to take that gamble.
Listen, I think that what I envision, and I hope the way that this season develops, is Trey Harris as your X. You run Quentin Johnston at your Z, and then you line up Lad in the slot, and then you just eat out a single back all fucking day long. Obviously, you could just run 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. Even bring in Penning's bitch ass if he finds a way to stick around and make him your 3rd, 4th tight end on the line.
And then for Dynasty, you just have Brennan Thompson on your taxi squad waiting in the wings, because I seriously, God, if he's on your taxi squad, you have probably, and I know JD is so high on Brennan Thompson. That was one of his big names this year. You have that man sitting on your taxi squad. You found a gold mine right there, because the speed is going to kill. And how McDaniel's going to scheme a play for him. What's up, King D? What's up? Yeah, King D and I were on the phone yesterday talking about his Ramblies.
Shit, the Ramley. Good Lord. Hey, so the wide receiver, running back, and tight end room for the Chargers a little up in the air when it comes to fantasy. Yeah. But the kicking situation, if you have kickers in your league, Dicker the kicker, he's right up there. There's Brandon Aubrey. I mean, there are a couple other threats that are in the NFL that could push for that. But it's not settling if you end up with Cameron Dicker as your kicker. If you have a kicker in your fantasy league, he's going to be top 5 almost certainly.
For sure. I have him in a bunch of places. I ain't gonna lie. Come on, I gotta represent with Dicker the kicker. Consider he's the most accurate. He's the most accurate kicker in the NFL.
In the history of the league.
Exactly.
A little different than recycling 3 to 4 kickers every fucking year.
I know. That's a blessing in disguise, knowing you have that ace in the hole right there.
Speaking of ace in the hole, this is a sneaky one we talked about at pre-show. In the studio, so to speak, that Chargers defense, fantasy-wise, kind of a sleeper.
It is, but you know what? We both said I think it's a top 5 defense.
It could be. I know everybody's.
I think the secondary is going to be very good this year.
I hope so, because those pass rushers, especially, I'm buying all the way in on Mesidor. Y'all talked me into it. I got to forget about his age. His feet are both healthy right now, and he looks good even against dummy bags. When he's finishing at the line at the same time that Khalil Mack is, who's this absolute technician and brute force, then I'm okay with that. Can't wait to see him in pads and playing against guys with other helmets on. Going to be exciting. Speaking of edge rushers, God, it's almost like we do this shit on purposely. Let's go to that EDGE4 battle. Again, you have Khalil Mack, Tuli Pelotu, and then the first-round pick out of Miami, Akeem Mesidor. But that EDGE4 spot, you have veteran Bud Dupree. Then you obviously have undrafted rookie free agent out of Western Michigan who played under Chris O'Leary, Nadeem Tucker, and then disappointing 4th-round pick Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina, who hasn't done shit since he's been a Charger. Of those 3, Kennard, Dupree, or Tucker, who wins that EDGE4 battle and why, Lee?
I think Tucker's going to win it. There's been so much hype about him. I really do think. And I think what gives him the upper hand is being with Chris O'Leary.
Let's go.
I really do. I think knowing the system, Chris O'Leary knowing how he works, I think he has that edge to take that thing. I really do. I think he makes the 50. I think he makes the roster. I really do.
You look at college football last year, number 1 in sacks, David Bailey, who went number 2 to the Jets. Mm-hmm. Number 2 in sacks at 14.5, Dame Tucker at Western Michigan University. Right behind him at 12.5 was Akeem Mesidor, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Tucker already knows the scheme. Yes, he has a huge uphill battle. Let's not pretend like the MAC plays a lot of offense that's real hot out there. So the defenses have a chance to exploit some, let's just say, below par offenses. But that being said, getting home 14.5 times, being in the top 3 to 5 and also pressures and quarterback hits as well. Tucker has what it takes to get after the quarterback. Lee, I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to have to take, for the record, Western Michigan University, but went to seminar music camp there as an opera performance major. It's where I met my ex-wife. We made 2 beautiful babies who are both, well, my daughter's a hair shorter than me, but my son, I'm looking up now. He's almost 5'10". So, hey, let's go ahead and start talking preseason football here, Lee. We've obviously got Thursday night, and it can't get here soon enough. Chargers, Texans. A little pissed it's not televised. Well, not televised for you guys. You know,
exactly.
We're going to be hopping on the pirate shit, but bootlegging some motherfucker. Right now, I will be watching that shit. Hey, listen, if I don't own any of the shit that I pay for anymore, everything's a digital license, then I don't feel guilty at all about bootlegging. Y'all know where to find me, or do you? Let's start talking about this matchup against the Texans. Again, you're not going to see any starters in this game. Thank God they're not stupid enough to do that. Which of these young cats are you looking forward to seeing? If you say Trey Lance, I'm going to hang up on you.
Bro, I'm really looking forward to seeing like what Tucker can do. I'm looking forward to seeing the players that, and also looking for. I don't know if Biotish is going to play either.
I hope he does not. I
hope he doesn't play either. I'm looking forward to players that are stepping up, like what Mesidor I don't think plays. Don't get me wrong. I don't think, but I think players that really I just want to step up. Like I want to see these young cats that these camp battles that we have show up, show out. You know how we've drafted quite well. We produced starters year in and year out. I want to get some of these diamonds in the roughs and show up and say, hey man, look what we got. Because I have a funny feeling there's someone that's going to show out on Thursday night and whoa, where did this name come from? That's what I'm looking forward to. Because you know what? It not just brings out, it says, yeah, man, we're drafting well, but we're bringing out these players that we haven't heard of. And then they're going to be something this year. I'm excited. I know it's the Houston Texans, but it also, for me, it's got some bragging rights. Peacock's got some bragging rights on my ass right now, and I am like that kind of shit. No, I know it's preseason, but come on now. It's the Houston Texans. But you know what? We ain't going to see their starters. I mean, I know Jim Harbaugh has a plan for us, like, one series or whatever, but it is what it is. But bring on football.
I know, Charger football. Some of the players that I'm excited to see, I really want to see Travis Burke. That giant.
Yeah, that's Travis Burke. That's a name. A couple of the kids that we drafted, and I really think that could be something. Travis
Taylor, Burke. Alex Harkey.
Yeah. To me, I really think, Travis Burke, especially because we feel that that's someone that's going to be a name that for the Chargers next year that's going to be a thing.
Down the road, sure. Eventually, when they have to move Slater to guard and they'll move Alt to left tackle, Berkshire right tackle. Just trying to ruffle some feathers out there, folks. Just trying to make
I also think we're going to see the shakeup in the pecking order of the wide receiver. Who's standing out right now? Is it going to be this? We're going to see how things pan out.
It could be completely different by week 8. For all we know, Trey Harris is the number 1. They're going to work Q out of the slot, and they're going to have Lab play Z. The thing that's so fun about this offense is the way that Mike McDaniel is going to set it up. He's the only one who knows, other than Harbaugh to some degree, because as much as people get accustomed to Mike McDaniel offenses, he caters it and changes it to the roster that he has. And he puts these players in position to where they can accentuate their strengths, as opposed to putting them in a spot to where they're maybe not as strong or as chiseled or honed in that skill, if you will. I'm excited to see how this goes down. DeLavion Campbell, I'm really excited to see him. The Chargers don't really have a 6'4" jump ball guy. Obviously, that's not Quentin Johnston, but Campbell can go get up and get it, and he can run a little bit too. Be nice to have one of those guys chilling on the practice squad that did give Herbert that type of Mike Williams-esque relief in clutch or on those long third downs where you just need that 50-50 guy. And obviously, Quentin Johnston's proven that it's not him. And I'm not ripping on QJ. He's not a jump ball guy. Despite having a 6'4" frame, that's not his strong suit. He's more, he plays more like a slot, kind of a middling wide receiver who can work the screens, the bubbles, everything underneath into intermediate. But the deep stuff is not his specialty unless it's busted coverage. And y'all saw him exploit that several times last year. Before we close out the show, Lee, it is a preseason game, but the kid in me still can't stand to see the Chargers lose, preseason or not. Give a quick score prediction for these cats out there. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me like, hey, Chargers game coming up. Tell me what to do with my underdog stuff. And they're reading me off all this shit. I'm like, golly, guys, it's fucking preseason. Nobody knows.
I got Chargers 24-17.
Let's go.
I don't care, man.
I'm always taking the Chargers.
I say Kyle Kennard has a sack. Trey Harris has a touchdown.
Hey, that's huge. That's huge. Hey, especially for Kennard, because if he gets a sack, maybe that give him a little bit of confidence. Listen, I think people listen to us be realistic about players on this show, and they get a little burned out. I need you to understand something. We want every single Charger that has ever existed and will ever exist in Lightning Bolts to be a Hall of Famer, no matter what. We want them all to succeed. But I can't watch certain things about these players after having played, coached, officiated, worked for CBS, press. I can't do that and not be honest about it, because that's disingenuous. And I'm not going to lie to you guys about anything important, because, I mean, I'm 5'11", and you guys know that. So
I think if anyone stands out on offense, it's going to be Trey Harris and Rondé Gadsden on Thursday night.
I don't know. I don't expect to see.
I see them playing a few plays, but not much, like one series.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check to see what other tight ends they have in camp. I don't know that they'll be playing too many of those guys. I expect the running back room to be like Jarrett Patterson and Amar Johnson more than that.
That's what I see.
But you know, it's hard to say. In fact, I got lamps just shutting off for the fuck of it. Lee, before we get out of here, when can we expect the next Chargers Power Hour? And
I'm gonna bring. I think I've decided it's off season. I've been doing so much content. I've been almost recycling the same stuff. What I'm going to do is I have a trip to Vegas next week with our YouTube channel. So I'm going to focus on that. And I think in the meantime, because I'm going to have a lot of guests coming up this year, I'm going to worry about the season, and probably closer when I get back from Vegas. I'm probably going to, I've already heard, I heard from Joe Madden that from JD already heard that. So that's cool. But I have so much I want to bring on this year, and I want to try to get before the season starts. I want to get a fantasy show, Chargers fantasy show for people that are just about to draft.
Hell yeah!
And that's what I want to do. And then the week 1, I'm gonna bring back my Power Hour, because it's gonna be exciting. But then you got to find me here on Tuesday nights. You got to find me over the Gen Wealth. But then again, come on, Tuesday nights here are busy. But then the season comes, it's gonna be even better. But no, I mean. It's going to be fun. But I'm going to bring the Power Hour is not going anywhere. It's just taking a little pause so I can get some rest and enjoy myself.
I'm telling you, hey,
because I got to get it relaxed, man.
If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do. Chargers Power Hour by Lee Ainsworth. He's the host there. Great content.
Oh, yeah. The Crooked Commish says, I got to get you on my fantasy show in the future if you're free on a Wednesday.
Hey, as long as I'm not Taylor and I do our show 7:30 Eastern, and we're usually about 38 minutes. Crooked Commish, I'll come on any show you're hosting, man. It'd be an honor. So if that was for me, you bet your ass we'll get that.
Yeah, it was.
Lined up, man. Absolutely. I look forward to it, buddy. Well, shit. We have so much of a good time that I got to go not have a good time and do some more work, because it's so fucking busy out here. It's the end of summer. We got some teenagers here, 3 of them, and just the schedules are all over the place. But for those of you who have taken the time to join us, we really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. If you have yet to hit that subscribe button, pound that motherfucker, hit like on the videos, leave some comments. It helps us, provides us with more things that allow the rest of the folks out there to pick up on our algorithm and make Bolt Blitz Uncut their one-stop shop for everything Chargers, in addition to, of course, Chargers Power Hour and the Electric Edge podcast.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
gotta figure that shit out. On behalf of my co-host, Lee Ainsworth, I'm your boy, Booger Peters. We're out. Peace, y'all. Love ya.
Peace.